Charlotte Washington game that's going on right now.
Stop. Hey, you're not going to be disparaging my Hornets Bobcats. Con Knipple, Miles Bridges. I just want you to know the Hornets Bobcats are balling right now. Got to give them their flowers. That young man, Con Knipple.
Yes, sir.
Is flat out balling.
Something incredible is happening in Charlotte right now, and somehow the basketball world is barely talking about it. Over the last stretch of games, the Charlotte Hornets have caught absolute fire, winning 10 of their last 11 matchups and suddenly looking like one of the most dangerous teams in the entire league. Since the calendar flipped to 2026, this team hasn't just improved, they've exploded into one of the most dominant squads in basketball. They currently sit at the very top of the NBA in net rating. They lead the league in offensive efficiency, and defensively they're holding opponents to the lowest effective field goal percentage in the entire NBA. Think about that for a second. This is the same franchise that managed to win only 21 games last season. For years, the Hornets were treated as an afterthought, a team people joked about whenever the conversation turned to struggling franchises. But now the narrative is flipping fast. A rookie is on the verge of chasing a statistical achievement that has almost never been touched in league history. Their head coach just picked up the Eastern Conference Coach of the Month award. And suddenly Charlotte isn't a punchline anymore. They're becoming a problem. So what exactly changed? There are 4 major reasons this transformation is happening. And the first one starts with a rookie who's quietly rewriting expectations. Con Knipple has stepped into the NBA and immediately made his presence felt. In his first season, the young guard is putting up 18.9 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 3.6 assists per game. For a rookie, those numbers alone would already be impressive. But what really makes people stop and stare is how efficient he's been while doing it. Knipple is knocking down nearly half of his shots from the field at 48.4%. He's drilling threes at an elite 42.8% clip, and is almost automatic at the free throw line with an 89.9% success rate. If you follow basketball closely, those numbers should immediately trigger something in your mind. They put him dangerously close to joining the legendary 50-40-90 club. That's one of the rarest statistical achievements in the entire sport. Only 9 players in NBA history have ever managed to finish a season shooting at least 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and 90% from the line. Names like Steve Nash, Larry Bird, Kevin Durant, and Dirk Nowitzki live on that list. And now, somehow, a 20-year-old rookie from Duke is flirting with that same level of efficiency. What makes this story even crazier is that no rookie has ever accomplished this feat, not one. And Knipple still has 28 games left this season to make history. Because of that performance, the Rookie of the Year race has suddenly become incredibly tight. Right now, Knipple is neck and neck with his former Duke teammate Cooper Flag, and the argument for either player is getting stronger every week. But Knipple's consistency is what truly stands out. In 33 out of his 37 games this season, he scored in double figures. That includes a 19-game stretch where he simply refused to cool off, putting up solid scoring performances night after night. He's already had multiple standout moments this season. Against Dallas, he erupted for 34 points in a performance that had the entire arena buzzing. When he returned to play in his hometown of Milwaukee, he dropped 26 points and delivered one of the most memorable games of his rookie campaign. Moments like those reveal something important about him. He doesn't shy away when the spotlight gets brighter. In fact, he seems to thrive in those situations. What makes Knipple even more valuable to Charlotte is the way his game has evolved beyond what scouts originally expected. On draft night, there were critics who believed he would be a limited player in the NBA. Some analysts labeled him as a one-dimensional shooter, a guy who would rely entirely on catch-and-shoot opportunities and struggle to create offense. But the numbers are proving that narrative completely wrong. His 3.6 assists per game show that is more than capable of making smart reads and moving the ball effectively. He can spot open teammates, run simple playmaking actions, and keep the offense flowing. In many ways, he acts as a connector within the system. He's a lethal shooter, yes, but he also helps link the entire offense together. And when a team has a shooter this dangerous on the floor, the entire geometry of the game shifts. Defenses simply cannot afford to leave him open. The moment defenders start paying extra attention to him, everything else begins to open up. Driving lanes suddenly appear for LaMelo Ball. Brandon Miller gets cleaner opportunities on the perimeter, and if a defender even hesitates or drifts away from Cannibal for a split second, he's more than capable of making them pay with a quick release from deep. This perfectly aligns with head coach Charles Lee's offensive philosophy. The system emphasizes quick decision-making, constant movement, and punishing defensive mistakes. Catch, shoot, relocate, repeat. Within that framework, Cannibal fits like a missing puzzle piece that suddenly completes the entire picture. Considering he was selected with the 4th pick in the draft, Charlotte might have landed one of the biggest steals of the entire rookie class. And if this trajectory continues, the league could be witnessing the birth of something truly special. But as impressive as Cannibal has been, he isn't the only reason opposing defenses are struggling to slow down Charlotte. The real nightmare for opponents comes from the backcourt chemistry that's developing between two young stars. LaMelo Ball has been the heartbeat of this franchise for years, and this season he's averaging 19.3 points and 7.3 assists per game. Those numbers might not even represent his career highs, but statistics alone don't capture how impactful he's been. What we're seeing right now might actually be the most complete version of LaMelo Ball since he entered the league. His overall net rating is the best it has ever been, improving by more than 5 points compared to previous seasons. That improvement tells a powerful story. For years, critics argued that LaMelo was more about flash than substance. People said he produced highlight plays but didn't necessarily contribute to winning basketball. That narrative is starting to crumble. The numbers show a completely different reality. When LaMelo is on the court, the Hornets perform at an elite level. When he sits, the team's performance drops dramatically. He's not just part of the system, he's the engine that powers it. Alongside him, Brandon Miller is beginning to blossom into the star Charlotte hoped he could become. Miller is currently averaging 20.6 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 3.3 assists per game while maintaining a highly efficient 56.4% true shooting percentage. Recently, he earned the Eastern Conference Player of the Week award, a recognition that highlights just how dominant his recent stretch has been. Miller has now scored in double digits for 17 consecutive games, and during that run he's averaging over 22 points per night while shooting an incredible 50% from beyond the arc. Those numbers don't just indicate improvement, they point toward genuine star-level production. What makes the LaMelo Miller duo so dangerous is how naturally their skill sets complement each other. LaMelo's vision allows him to read defenses like a chess player thinking several moves ahead. This season he has developed a much better sense of timing, knowing when to distribute the ball and when to take control as a scorer. In a game earlier this season against Dallas, LaMelo spent the entire first half feeding Cannibal because the rookie had the hot hand. But after halftime, once he anticipated the defense would adjust, LaMelo shifted gears and started attacking the rim himself. That kind of basketball IQ is what separates talented players from truly elite playmakers. Meanwhile, Brandon Miller thrives in moments when the offense needs stability. Whenever the opposing team starts building momentum or the game slows down into a half-court battle, Miller has become the player Charlotte relies on to settle things. Every playoff contender needs someone who can calm the storm and deliver a bucket when things get chaotic, and Miller is quickly proving he can be that player. Size also give the Hornets a huge advantage. LaMelo stands at 6'7", which makes him taller than most guards who try to defend him. Miller is also 6'7", but adds a massive 7-foot wingspan, allowing him to create matchup nightmares for opposing wings. With that kind of length across the perimeter, Charlotte constantly forces opponents into difficult one-on-one situations. Coach Charles Lee has built an offensive system designed to maximize every one of these advantages. Since December 18th, when LaMelo returned fully healthy, the Hornets have produced the #1 offense in the NBA. They aren't just launching random three-pointers. They are generating high-quality shots, corner threes, catch-and-shoot opportunities, and open driving lanes that collapse defenses. Normally, when a team scores this efficiently, there's a trade-off on the defensive side of the ball. High-powered offenses often give up plenty of points. But Charlotte is doing something completely different. Since the beginning of 2026, the Hornets have quietly become one of the best defensive teams in basketball. They currently rank third in defensive rating across the league. Opponents are shooting worse against them than against any other team. Charlotte allows the fewest corner threes, limits second chance opportunities, and send opponents to the free throw line far less frequently than most teams. For a franchise that spent years struggling to defend anyone, this transformation feels almost unbelievable that at the center of that defensive turnaround stands Moussa Diabate. The energetic big man is averaging 8.6 rebounds per game, ranking among the league's top rebounders. Double-doubles are becoming a regular part of his stat line, and his relentless motor has completely changed the way Charlotte protects the paint. A few months ago, Charles Lee compared Diabate to defensive legends like Ben Wallace and Dennis Rodman. At the time, the comparisons sounded a little exaggerated, but the more games he plays, the more accurate it starts to look. Diabate's journey makes the story even more remarkable. He entered the league as a second-round pick and spent his early years barely seeing the floor with the Clippers before eventually being waived. Most players in that situation fade away from the spotlight. Instead, Diabate has reinvented himself into the defensive anchor of one of the best lineups in the NBA. His versatility is what truly separates him from traditional centers. Standing at 6'10", he has the agility to switch onto guards and wings without becoming a liability. He constantly disrupts passing lanes, contests shots, and battles for rebounds with relentless energy. Even some of the league's most physically dominant centers have struggled against his intensity this season. The numbers tell the story clearly. Since Diabate became a full-time starter in late December, Charlotte's lineup has dominated. During that stretch, the Hornets boast the best offensive rating in the NBA, a top 6 defensive rating, and the best overall net rating by a comfortable margin. That kind of balance between offense and defense is the foundation of every true contender, and the organization isn't finished improving the roster. At the trade deadline, the Hornets made a bold but calculated move that could raise their ceiling even higher. For years, Charlotte played the role of a quiet observer during trade season, rarely making aggressive moves. But this time, the front office decided it was time to act. The Hornets sent several assets to Chicago and brought in a major scoring threat. Kobe White, along with veteran guard Mike Conley. White is averaging nearly 19 points and close to 5 assists per game this season. Even though a calf injury delayed his debut with the team, his arrival could be a perfect fit for Charlotte's system. As a North Carolina native who played college basketball at UNC, White's return to the state adds a powerful storyline to the move. More importantly, his skill set complements the current roster beautifully. White is comfortable shooting off the dribble, playing off the ball, or running the offense himself. That versatility allows him to slide into multiple roles depending on the matchup. Once he's fully healthy, he could become an explosive sixth man leading the second unit, or even step into the starting lineup when needed. The best part about the trade is that Charlotte didn't sacrifice its future to make it happen. They avoided giving up valuable first-round picks and maintained flexibility for the years ahead. It was a calculated upgrade rather than a desperate gamble. When you imagine the full lineup once everyone is healthy, the possibilities become terrifying for opponents. LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Khan Canapol, Miles Bridges, and Kobe White all sharing the floor at different moments creates endless offensive combinations. Every one of those players can score, handle the ball, and create opportunities for teammates. For the first time in years, the Hornets also have real depth. Injuries used to derail entire seasons, but now the roster has enough talent to absorb those setbacks. Just 1 year ago, Charlotte won only 19 games and looked completely lost. Now they produce their longest winning streak since the late 1990s and are climbing the standings with confidence. This isn't luck. It's the result of strong coaching, emerging stars, and a system that maximizes every player's strengths. The Hornets haven't appeared in the playoffs since 2016. An entire generation of fans in Charlotte has never experienced postseason basketball in their city. But that drought looks like it's finally coming to an end. The most exciting part is that this team still feels like it's only scratching the surface. The chemistry is still developing. The roster is still evolving. And once everyone is fully healthy, the Hornets could become one of the most unpredictable and dangerous teams in the NBA. Charlotte isn't just improving anymore, they are rising. And the rest of the league might want to start paying attention, because the Hornets are just getting started.